So now that we've seen a little bit more about how to manipulate information on the timeline, let's talk a bit about how this information was put into Microsoft projects so that it shows up on the timeline. I'm going to uncheck timeline actually, because I want to focus on the task. Let's go back to the frame of mind that we are starting a response to an RFP, and there's all this information in this project file, and how do we go back to the beginning and really put in dates that are applicable to the RFP? I'm going to go to the View tab and under Outline, click on Hide Subtask. Oh, that didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do. I just want to see level 1. So now that I've seen level 1 here, where I would start with putting in real information, or I should say current information, this is already real, current information, we just come in here and click on the start and finish dates of the tasks. Now you'll notice on this parent task, I'm trying to click in this start date here. I can't change it. What is happening? The reason why is because you have to change the individual tasks, not the main master task. This duration of the project and the start and finish date will be automatically updated in Microsoft Project as you go through and fill in information. So let's pretend that we are responding to an RFP and we're talking about the project start date. Okay, so let's say it's not May 19th, that's way in the past, so it's somewhere in the future. I can click a bunch of times to get to the current date, or I can just come in here and type in 3/27/2020, and suddenly everything just got updated. Cool. All right. Now, wait a minute. What happened up here? The project still shows that it starts on May 24th. Don't worry. It just means that another task down below has an earlier start date than the task that we're currently working on. You can quickly scroll down with your eyes and look in the start column and see where that is. So as you update the start and finish dates of all of the applicable tasks, you'll start seeing the project dates get automatically updated. Now you have to ask yourself, are all of these tasks really relevant to the RFP that I am working on? Maybe, it might be. If they are, great. Then come in and go through this and update every line item so that it matches the realistic time frame that you're looking for in your proposal. Once you go through and update all of the dates, then your timeline will be up to date. I'm going to do a Control Z. I'm going to undo my date change there, just so we can go back to the timeline and see some other details. So let's assume that you've gone through, you put in all the dates, and now you've got a really nice, clear, concise image here. I want to talk about how details like these callouts are showing up on the timeline and why some tasks have this long block view, a long range of dates, and other ones have a little diamond view. That's because the little diamonds are milestones, and they are flagged as a milestone in the task pane. So let's talk about the resource request. And I'm going to do a Control F to find it, but I know that I need the outline to show all subtasks in order for my Control F to show me the resource task. So there that is. If I right click on the resource request task that starts on May 28th and go to information, and I go under the advanced tab, this check mark is what is marking this task as a milestone, and that's what makes it look different, look like a diamond here on the timeline. And also if I zoomed in the Gantt chart over here, you would see that it is a diamond as opposed to a bar with a start and end date. And that's a nice visual aid for items that are in fact a milestone. If that's something that you want to call out to the client that, hey, this is an important critical item and it's going to be on this date, then you can mark it as a milestone by right-clicking on it under and checking Mark as a Milestone under the Advanced tab. Now let's say that you do that, but something's got the information showing differently than you wanted. I just dragged that so you could see what happens in the timeline view if you drag a call out into try to get into the middle of the timeline. Microsoft Project won't actually, excuse me, show the call out inside the body of the timeline. It's either going to be up top or on the bottom. So I'm going to bring it back down here and show that. So again, once you've gone through the file and put in all of the applicable dates, and then you've got some things on the timeline that you want to show, if you want to drag it around so that it's a little bit more visually appealing, you can do that. Now, if it gets too busy and you feel like, you know what, I don't need this here, I don't need the external kickoff here as an example, you can just right click and remove from timeline. It doesn't delete it from the task pane, it just removes it from the timeline. And then I can have a little bit more space here. I accidentally double clicked there. I can have a little bit more space here if I really want to call out this important milestone, hypothetically the resource request example there. So that's how information can be dragged around in the timeline so that you can then share this with your client. Now, there's a couple of different ways to share this Gantt chart, or excuse me, timeline view of the Gantt chart with your customer. One of my favorite ways is Windows Shift S. I just hit those 3 keys in sequence on my laptop, and that gives me the ability to drag around this timeline. And now that is copied onto my clipboard. I can paste that into a Word document or into an email, and then you can share it that way.